Be me early 30s, guy named Matt. Work as a data analyst. Most people say their job is their life. Like, it's depressing for me. It's honestly not. I actually like the work. Numbers make sense in a way people never do. Numbers don't get emotional. Numbers don't spin narratives or chase trends. 2 plus 2 is always 4. Doesn't matter who's offended by it. My entire job revolves around logic, patterns, and cutting through noise to find the real signal. Work for a large tech firm. Salary is solid. Problems are interesting. For years, our department was basically the only sane corner of the company. Everything else upstairs was typical corporate theater. The reason our group worked was our department head, a guy named Larry, late 50s, old school type, came up in the company back when the only thing that mattered was whether you were good at your job. His philosophy was dead simple. Hire people who know what they're doing, give them the tools they need, then leave them alone. He never pried into anyone's personal life, didn't care about office gossip, didn't care about political nonsense. Only thing he cared about was output. Did you hit the deadline? Was the analysis correct? Did the work make the company money? If all 3 boxes checked, you were golden. Our team meetings were almost beautiful in their efficiency. Maybe 10 minutes total. Matt, update on the forecasting model on schedule. Testing ready by Friday afternoon. Good Rachel, pipeline integration, status ran into a weird API hiccup, but patched it. No delay expected. Great any blockers room, silent all right then. Get back to work. Meeting over, no icebreakers, no motivational slogans, no forced bonding activities, just work. We were easily the most productive department in the whole company. Not even close, like a well-tuned engine. Then the middle manager under Larry left for another company, took some director job somewhere else. The whole team got a little nervous about the replacement. Corporate hires can be unpredictable. Larry sent out an email saying he'd find someone who respected our results. Focused culture, we believed him that, was mistake number 1. Few weeks later, the announcement landed. Our new manager's name was Kayla. Her intro bio, in the email, read like a LinkedIn buzzword. Generator exploded passionate about collaborative synergy and nurturing empowered workplaces dedicated to building psychologically safe teams. Lots of language about empowerment and holistic growth, almost nothing about analytics, systems, or technical background. My reaction.jpg still figured maybe she was just fluent in corporate speak. Maybe the resume behind it was solid. First team meeting with her scheduled for a full hour. Immediate red flag. We all shuffle into the conference room. Larry shows up for the handoff. Keeps it short. Like always, team, this is Kayla. These people are the best analysts we've got. Don't mess them up. Then he walks out. Kayla stands up smiling, like she's powered by a truck battery. Thanks, Larry. Hello, everyone. I am just so excited to start this journey with you. All then she talks and talks and talks for 45 straight minutes. Not about work experience, about her feelings. Her leadership philosophy apparently revolves around making sure everyone feels seen and validated. Says her top priority isn't project delivery. It's building a sense of belonging. I sit there quietly while my soul slowly leaves my body. Glance over at Rachel. One of the senior analysts, same no-nonsense personality as me. She's staring at Kayla with the 1,000-yard stare of someone witnessing a slow motion. Train wreck meeting finally ends, but not before our first assignment. Kayla sends a follow-up email to the whole team. Team, as a first step toward a more inclusive workspace, please add your preferred pronouns to your email signature by end of day. Thanks for supporting each other. I stare at the message. My signature is simple. Matt, Senior Data. Analyst, extension 2147. That's it. Why would I add pronouns? My name is Matt. Not exactly ambiguous in thousands of emails. Nobody has ever been confused. It's just extra clutter, extra characters, extra nonsense. I archive the email and go back to debugging a nasty SQL query figure. It's more of a suggestion than a rule. Next morning, I notice everyone else updated theirs. Every signature now has a /him or she/. Her tacked onto the bottom. One of the junior analysts even has a /. I ignore it. I've got deadlines later that afternoon. I get a chat message from Kayla. Hey, Matt. Quick reminder about updating your email signature. I reply noted, then continue my work and still don't change. It wasn't trying to prove a point or start some protest. It was purely practical. My brain is wired to remove useless steps. Adding unnecessary text to an email signature counts as a useless step. So I didn't do it. Week keeps rolling, and Kayla slowly starts reshaping the entire department. Our quick 10-minute stand-ups vanish, replaced with 30-minute daily alignment check-ins. First thing she asks every morning, rate your emotional bandwidth today on a scale from 1 to 5. Most people just mumble something like, 4, just to get through it faster. Then she introduces something worse, a recurring Friday meeting called Team Connect. 1 full hour every single Friday afternoon. We walk into the conference room, chairs arranged in a perfect circle. Immediately know this is going to be painful. Kayla starts smiling like a kindergarten teacher, says we're going to share something we're struggling with, personally or professionally, and then something we're grateful for. Basically corporate therapy. Hour first. Couple people give the safest HR-approved responses imaginable. I'm struggling with balancing my workload, but I'm grateful for my supportive coworkers. I've been a little stressed, but I'm grateful the weekend is coming. The whole thing feels fake. Everyone clearly just wants it to end. Then it's my turn. I look over at Kayla. She's leaning forward in her chair, eyes wide like she's waiting for a breakthrough moment. Project Atlas is running on schedule. Initial model suggests roughly a 17% efficiency improvement. We're waiting on the last dataset from the sales division. No current blockers room goes quiet. Kayla's smile tightens a few degrees. Thank you for the update. Or for stast. Oh, stigidaris. Matt, but the exercise was about sharing feelings. What are you personally struggling with right now? I stare at her for a second. My personal issues are private. They don't impact my work. She leans in even closer. But this is a safe space. Matt, we build trust through vulnerability. My work builds trust. The code works. The analysis is accurate. The deadlines are met. That's the trust you get from me. One of her eyes twitches slightly. Okay, she says slowly. And what are you grateful for? I think about it for half a second. I'm grateful for short meetings. Dead silence fills the room. Rachel coughs to hide a laugh. Kayla quickly pivots to the next person, but the vibe in the room already changed. I wasn't rude, I didn't insult anyone, I just didn't participate in the performance, and that bothered her more than anything. After that meeting, I became her personal improvement project. Suddenly I'm getting one-on-one meetings twice a week, calendar invites titled Quick Check-In. First one, she immediately brings up the email signature. Again explains that even if I personally don't need pronouns listed, my refusal might make others uncomfortable sharing theirs. Calls it a microaggression. I ask a simple question: has anyone in this department, or literally anywhere in the company, filed a complaint about my email signature? She pauses. Well, no, not directly, then. It's a hypothetical problem. I solve real problems. Let me know. When it becomes one conversation, moves to my communication style. Apparently I'm too direct. She says relying strictly on data can feel intimidating for people who communicate. Emotionally, suggests I soften my wording. Instead of saying that conclusion is incorrect because the data set contradicts it, I should say something like, I appreciate the perspective you're bringing, and I'm curious if the data might offer another interpretation. I tell her that approach adds unnecessary ambiguity to a process that requires precision. It's like trying to explain color to someone who's never seen light. We're operating on completely different wavelengths. She views the workplace as a social environment that sometimes produces work. I see it as a place where work happens and people occasionally socialize. This routine goes on for several weeks. During that time, the department's productivity starts slipping. Constant meetings, emotional check-ins, new culture initiatives every few days. All distractions. People start spending more time managing Kayla's expectations than actually doing their jobs. I keep my head down, focus on output, make sure my numbers are stronger than ever, if my results stay flawless. She can't really touch me. My work becomes my armor. Then the next big moment happens, major cross-department, meeting, quarterly, analytics, presentation, marketing, leadership, there, sales leadership, there, Larry. Sitting at the end of the table, big room, big deal, Kayla is leading the presentation. Slides were built by the team, mostly Rachel and me, but Kayla is the one talking through them, and it becomes obvious pretty quickly. She doesn't fully understand the data she's presenting. Kayla was good at one thing: slick presentations, smooth voice, confident tone. Polished slides looked great. From a distance problem, started when people asked actual questions, specific ones, technical ones. Then the wheels started wobbling. She hits a slide about customer churn, projections, big number on the screen, 2.4%, churn forecast for next quarter. She starts explaining how this proves our retention. Programs are paying off, talking about positive momentum, marketing, nodding along, sales. Looking pleased, my stomach drops. I built that model. I know every number inside it, and the number on that slide is wrong, decimal point in the wrong place. Actual projection is 6.8%, not 2.4, not even close. 2.4 would mean things are improving. 6.8 means we have a serious problem brewing. That slide was supposed to trigger alarm bells, not a celebration sitting there, realizing what's happening. Two options. Stay quiet. Let the wrong number go through. Watch marketing and sales build their quarterly plans around bad data. Eventually everything blows up, and technically the mistake belongs to Kayla, not me or speak up. Fix the number, protect the integrity of the analysis, but publicly correct my boss in front of half the leadership team. Professional instincts win. I can't sit there while bad data gets locked into strategy. Wait for her to pause between sentences, raise a hand. Slightly, hey Kayla, quick clarification on that. Slide room goes. Quiet. 20 people look over. Looks like there's a typo in the deck. Correct. Projected churn is 6.8%, not 2.4. The source tables are in the appendix. If anyone wants to double check, room instantly goes silent. Sales director leans forward. 6.8? That's a massive difference that changes the entire outlook. Everyone's suddenly staring at the screen. Again, Larry glances from the slide to me, then back to the slide, gives a tiny nod, barely noticeable, but I know what it means. He trusts the data. Kayla just stands there, frozen color drains out of her face, then rushes back bright red. She forces a smile. Yes, thank you for the clarification, Matt. As I was saying, we are carefully monitoring the situation. But the room energy already shifted. The narrative is dead. Now leadership wants answers about the real number, why it's rising, what we're doing about it. Entire second half of the meeting becomes a grilling session. One misplaced decimal point nuked the whole presentation. I already know this will come back on me. Meeting finally ends, marketing and sales, leaders head out, door closes. Kayla slowly turns toward me, voice quiet, shaking slightly. I cannot believe you just did that. I blink at her. Did what you humiliated me in front of the entire leadership group. You undermined my authority. In public, genuinely confused. There was a major error in the data being presented. My job is making sure our analysis is accurate. I did exactly that. Your job? She snaps quietly. You could have messaged me privately, sent a chat, anything instead. You made it a public spectacle. Then she drops the real accusation. You just couldn't handle seeing a woman leading the room, so you had to put her in her place. Classic toxic masculinity. I just stare at her. The logic gap is so wide, I don't even know where to start. This has nothing to do with gender, nothing to do with authority. It's about a number. 6.8 is not 2.4. That's it. Before I can even respond, Rachel speaks up from behind us. She's been quietly packing her laptop. He actually saved you. Kayla, her tone completely flat. And the rest of us, if marketing ran with that 2.4 number, we'd all be sitting in a meeting with Larry's boss next month, trying to explain why the quarterly forecast imploded. Matt did exactly what he should have done. Kayla looks like she just got slapped. Eyes bounce from Rachel to me, searching for support. Finds none, only silence and facts. She grabs her laptop, abruptly spins around, walks out of the room without another word. I pack my bag quietly. Rachel gives me a small nod as we head out. No conversation needed. Line in the sand just got drawn, but I know it's not finished. People like Kayla don't accept losing on logic. They just move the fight somewhere else. Somewhere emotional, somewhere subjective. She can't attack my work, so she's going after my character, and I have a bad feeling she's about to escalate next couple weeks. The office atmosphere turns weird, thick tension everywhere. Kayla barely talks to me or Rachel anymore. Most communication now through email or group chats. The one-on-one meetings she used to schedule with me suddenly disappear. Calendar invites quietly canceled, no explanation. But I noticed something else she's having, quiet side conversations with some of the junior analysts. The more agreeable ones, the ones who won't push back. They talk for a few minutes, then she immediately starts typing like crazy on her laptop, afterward building notes, documenting things, clearly assembling some kind of narrative. Because in her version of events, I'm not just an employee who corrected a number anymore. I had become the villain in her story, not just a coworker she didn't like, but a problem, a toxic influence poisoning the culture. She wanted to build a threat to her carefully curated safe space. I honestly didn't care. I just kept doing my job, closed out 3 large projects ahead of schedule, helped the finance team untangle a messy reporting pipeline, fixed a forecasting model marketing had been struggling with for weeks, kept stacking results. Making it impossible for anyone to claim my performance was the issue. If they wanted me gone, they'd have to invent another reason. I knew eventually the confrontation would come, just didn't know when or how. Then the calendar invite appeared. Meeting with Larry attendees. Larry, Kayla, Matt subject. Performance and team culture discussion. Ah, there it is. This was her endgame. Go over my head, convince the one person whose opinion actually mattered that I was the disease in the department. She was about to wage a feelings-based war against a guy who only respected numbers. She had no idea how bad that matchup was for her. Night before the meeting, I prepare, but not the way she probably expected. I didn't rehearse emotional talking points, didn't practice speeches in the mirror. I gathered data, 6 months of works, logs, every project I touched, every deliverable completed. I quantified the impact of each one, cost, savings, process, efficiency, improvements, revenue gains, tied to analytics, recommendations. Printed my performance, metrics, productivity, accuracy, delivery, timelines all sitting in the top 1% across the company. Also pulled email threads from other departments, directors, VPs, product leads, praising my work. Matt saved us 2 weeks of analysis time. We couldn't have launched without his model. Huge help on the forecasting correction. I wasn't building a defense, I was building a fortress made of documented competence. She could bring feelings. I was bringing receipts next afternoon. I walk into Larry's office corner, office on the executive floor. Big room, very clean, very minimal, large wooden desk dominating the center. Larry never cared about decorations, walls. Mostly empty except for company awards and a framed chart showing the company stock climbing. Over the years, Kayla already sitting in one of the chairs across from the desk, holding a leather notebook against her chest. Like it's sacred scripture, face set, in determined seriousness, looks like someone preparing for a heroic sacrifice. I take the other chair, set my thin folder on my lap. Don't look at her. Look at Larry. Larry leans back in his chair, fingers steepled together, gets straight to the point. Kayla requested this meeting. She's raised concerns about the team culture, and specifically about your role in it. Matt, I want to understand what's going on. Then he turns to her, floor's yours. This is the moment she's been building toward. She inhales slowly, opens her notebook, and begins 40 minutes of pure corporate theater, impressive in its own strange way. Not a single concrete fact anywhere. She never actually accuses me of doing something specific. Instead, she talks about the energy I bring into the room. Says my presence creates a dismissive atmosphere. Claims people feel unable to show their authentic selves around me. Mentions my refusal to participate in team bonding exercises. Frames it as intentional social sabotage rather than personal preference. Brings up my communication style. Says my hyper-logical responses create an unsafe environment for neurodivergent thinkers and alternative communication styles. Then comes the pronoun email. She describes my quiet refusal as invalidating the identities of my coworkers, like it was some kind of symbolic aggression. But the centerpiece of her argument, the crown jewel, is the presentation meeting. She paints it like a calculated ambush. I didn't correct a decimal error. I staged a public humiliation, a deliberate power move meant to strip her authority, an example of patriarchal dominance reasserting itself, honestly, kind of impressive storytelling. She pulls out every HR buzzword available: psychological safety, microaggressions, weaponized incompetence, unconscious bias, slowly building this narrative where I'm the villain, not because of actions, but because of what I supposedly represent: the old workplace mindset, cold logic, emotionless efficiency, a relic blocking the path to her enlightened culture. First workplace, she wraps it up dramatically, voice trembling slightly. Larry, this isn't about one isolated moment. It's a pattern of behavior, a pattern that's making it impossible for me to build the supportive, collaborative team I was brought here to create. People feel intimidated. People are afraid to speak. Innovation is being suppressed. And Matt is the source of that fear. She closes the notebook, slowly looks up at Larry, eyes shining like she's holding back tears. Kayla had just finished laying out her entire case, 40 minutes of emotional storytelling. Larry sat there completely still, face unreadable. He let the silence sit in the room for a while, long enough to feel uncomfortable. Then he slowly turned toward me. Matt, your response? I didn't speak immediately. I leaned forward, opened the folder in my lap, and slid one sheet of paper across the desk toward him. Single-page executive summary, left column listed every project I'd completed since Kayla took over the team. Right column showed the measurable business impact from each one: money saved, revenue gained, efficiency improvements. Bottom of the page had the total value, generated big, bold number, well into 7 figures. Larry picked it up, read through it slowly, from top to bottom. Kayla leaned sideways, trying to see it. Her expression shifted from confident outrage to visible confusion. This clearly wasn't the direction she expected. I placed a second stack of papers on the desk, emails from directors and VPs in sales, marketing, and operations, unsolicited praise about my work over the same time period. Matt saved our rollout timeline. His model fixed a major forecasting error we couldn't have launched without his analysis. Larry flipped through the first few pages. Then I added one more document on top of the pile, a simple chart, nothing fancy, just a line graph. This is the department productivity metric. X-axis is time. Y-axis is tasks completed per employee. Each week I point to a vertical red marker on the graph. That line marks the week. Kayla started managing the team. Before the line, productivity steady and high. After the line, a slow, steady drop. The data spoke for itself. I didn't need to explain it. Larry studied the graph quietly for a long time. Only sound in the room was the low hum of the air conditioner. Kayla's face was starting to lose color. She could see her narrative collapsing piece by piece. I finally spoke. I was hired as a senior data analyst. My performance is evaluated by the accuracy of my work and the financial impact of that work. I lightly tapped the stack of papers. These documents represent my performance review. I have met or exceeded every expectation tied to my role. I paused, then looked directly at Larry. I have never been rude to Kayla. I have never refused a work-related instruction. I have never missed a deadline. The complaints being raised are not about my job performance. They are about my personality and my unwillingness to participate in activities I believe waste company time. I leaned back in my chair. That's my response room. Went quiet again. Larry turned his attention toward Kayla. Her posture had completely changed, the earlier confidence gone, replaced with visible anxiety. Larry said calmly, Matt's work is exceptional by every metric available to us. Frankly, he's one of the most valuable individual contributors in this department. He tapped the summary sheet once, however. Overall team productivity has been trending downward for the last 2 months. He tapped the graph. How do you explain that? Kayla stumbled through an answer. While cultural transitions take time, there's always an adjustment period. People are investing more time in relationship building and trust development, which leads to long-term gains. Larry raised a hand slightly, not aggressively, but enough to stop her sentence. Your role is to support people like Matt, not to fix them. His communication style is producing these results. He gestured toward the documents. Your management approach is producing these results. He tapped the declining line on the graph again. Then came the moment that ended it. Larry picked up the phone on his desk, pressed a button. Janet, could you get Rachel on the line, please? Kayla's eyes widened immediately about 10 seconds later. Rachel's voice came through the speaker, clear and professional. Yes, Larry. Rachel, you've been on this team for several years. I need a straightforward answer. Is Matt disruptive to the department? Does he create a toxic work environment? Brief pause on the line, you could almost hear her thinking through the political consequences. Then she answered, "No. Larry Matt is the reason half our projects finish on time. He's quiet and keeps to himself. But when someone gets stuck on a technical issue, he's usually the first person helping. Honestly, he's probably the least toxic person in the entire office." Another short pause. "The only tension we've had recently is the pressure to spend half our day talking about feelings instead of working. Larry didn't react at all. Thank you, Rachel. That's all I needed." He ended the call, then slowly looked back at Kayla. The look Larry gave her wasn't anger. It was worse, pure disappointment, Kayla. He said calmly, "This company rewards results. Your assignment here was simple. Take the most productive analytics team in the company and make it even better. Instead, you tried turning it into some kind of social experiment. And along the way, you managed to alienate the people producing the most value." He stood up from his chair, meeting clearly over, "I don't want to hear another speech about team culture or psychological safety or microaggressions. Not from you. Not from anyone. Your only responsibility from this point forward is getting that productivity number back where it used to be. Focus on the work. Is that clear?" Kayla just sat there, frozen shoulders, slumped, all the confidence gone. "Yes." "Larry, good now. Both of you get out of my office. You're wasting my afternoon." We walked out without another word. Kayla wouldn't even glance in my direction. She hurried back toward her desk, like someone trying to escape a burning building. I went back to my own desk, sat down, and continued working on a data set I'd been cleaning earlier, but something had definitely changed. That meeting wasn't just a discussion, it was a verdict, and office gossip travels faster than Wi-Fi. By the next morning, everyone knew something happened. Nobody knew the exact details, but they understood the outcome. Kayla went after Matt, and it backfired badly. The shift in the department was immediate and brutal. Whatever authority she had left evaporated overnight. People stop pretending morning meeting comes around. She tries starting the emotional check-in routine again. Rate your emotional capacity today. People just start talking about project updates instead. No one engages with it later. She sends a calendar. Invite. Friday. Virtual trivia. Happy hour. Mandatory fun. Not a single RS, VP emails about synergy and empowerment sit unanswered in inboxes. Interactions with her. Become extremely precise. People asks exactly the information required to finish their tasks. Nothing else, no small talk. No. How was your weekend? No polite filler. Conversation, just work questions. She's technically still the manager, but socially she's invisible. Meetings still happen. But the real collaboration moves into private chats and side channels. She isn't part of a quiet, bloodless coup. Nobody announces it. The team simply decides she's irrelevant and works around her. She tried forcing control for a while. Start scheduling mandatory one-on-one meetings. Again, people attend, cite politely. Answer questions with one word. Responses then leave immediately when the meeting ends. Ironic in a way, she once accused me of creating hostility with silence. Now she's experiencing real hostility. The kind built from total indifference eventually. Panic starts showing. She looks exhausted. Most days the big enthusiastic smile disappears, replaced by constant nervous tension. She starts making mistakes, forgets approvals, misses important emails. Her own performance begins collapsing, stress, eating away at it. The sad part, her entire career identity was built around being a people connector, a builder of culture, a master of workplace relationships. But the same people she was supposed to connect with had quietly rejected her final moment. Came about a month after the meeting with Larry. She calls a full team. Meeting tries one last speech, talks about rebuilding trust, about coming together again as a team, about collaboration and shared purpose. When she finishes, the room is silent. Nobody claps, nobody comments. Everyone just stares at their laptops. She scans the room like she's waiting for someone to respond. Nothing. Meeting ends 10 minutes early. That was Friday. Monday morning, new email from Larry team. Please note that Kayla has decided to pursue other opportunities. Her final day was Friday. We wish her success in future roles. That was it. No goodbye message, no farewell meeting. She packed her desk after that last meeting and disappeared. The whole department felt lighter. Almost instantly that afternoon, Larry walked into our section of the office, looked around at everyone. Listen up. We're going back to the old system, 10-minute stand-ups, no more circles, no emotional check-ins, just work any questions. Nobody had. Any later that day. I'm at the coffee machine refilling my mug. Rachel walks up next to me, pours herself some coffee, leans against the counter, small grin on her face. So, she says, things are quiet again. I take a sip of coffee. First genuine smile I've had since this whole circus started. Yeah, quiet is good. And it really was. We went right back to operating like a machine. Productivity climbed. Again, the noise disappeared, and all that remained was the signal.